everybody, today we're gonna talk about my travel. So recently I traveled from US to India, and especially during this COVID season there were some extra paperwork and some extra steps that you need to follow to have a pleasant travel. So the first step, and we're going to discuss everything sequentially. So the first step is booking your tickets, right? So you know this, right? That you can book your tickets from both Indian and US websites, and with Indian website you need to pay in rupees, and with US websites you need to pay in dollars. So first of all, check both of the websites because they both offer different deals, and what I found was Indian websites are offering better deals in comparison to the US website. But yeah, again, you can find better with US, whatever suits you better. So once you have your tickets with you, the second step is go to the Air Suvidha website and fill the self-reporting form and exemption form, and you need to get yourself COVID tested. So these three steps are the basic main steps. But if you're going to different states of India, for example, if you're going to Delhi, it's completely fine. You just need to follow up these three steps. And with other states, there are some extra steps. For example, with South India, they're having some extra steps. So you need to check your state's website to know what they want from you. And once you have your ticket, you got yourself tested. So the next question is when should you get yourself tested? So it should be 72 hours at most, 72 hours prior to your actual travel. For example, if you're traveling on 7th January, then you should get yourself tested at most 72 hours prior of 7th January. Otherwise they are gonna reject your test, and that's gonna create so much complications when you will land in India. So COVID test, and on the basis of your COVID test you're gonna fill the exemption form. We are going to discuss the exemption form at the very last step because it comes in play when you need to exit the airport. So with self-reporting form, they need your seat number, they need your flight, and they're gonna ask you few questions regarding symptoms, like for example if you have cough or if you have problems in breathing, etc. And they're gonna ask you your origin and your destination, like you're traveling from where to where. For example, I traveled from Utah, Salt Lake City to New Delhi, and my final destination was Ghaziabad, right? So once you reach the airport, then you need to find different counters of different states. We're gonna discuss that part later. So right now what they're gonna do, you got your tickets, you filled your Air Suvidha form, because when you're gonna reach the airport, this Air Suvidha form hardly takes 5 minutes. But once you fill it, they're gonna ask for that form, and then they're gonna check your temperature. If you have no fever, if you don't have higher temperature, they'll let you in. But I don't know about the other side, what they're gonna do if you have higher temperature. What I felt was they're not gonna let you in, and how they're gonna deal with that situation, that if they're gonna pay you back, I'm not sure about that situation. So okay, so you're gonna get in and then you will start your travel. So with travel, what I found was, as compared to the domestic flights in the United States, these flights from U.S.A. to India are kind of more crowded than the domestic flights, than by previous flights. As I traveled from Salt Lake City to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco to India. So the flight from Salt Lake City to San Francisco was kind of empty, but the other flight, my long flight, was pretty crowded. So I doubled up my masks and I just went for it. And they give you stacks of wipes that you're gonna, in the start of the travel, and you're gonna clean your space and everything. And even that's what you do. But it was so crowded that I felt like you should carry your face shield and other masks and like a combination of face shield and masks with you while you were traveling. Like that would be a better option. So once you'll do that, then otherwise it was pretty good. I traveled with United Airlines and they did a pretty good job that they followed the social distancing rules, but as it was already so crowded that I cannot blame them, or I don't know. The second part is like they ask you to download the Arogya Setu app. This app works on Bluetooth, and what it does is like it takes your data, like asks for your symptoms, and it lets you know that if you are in a close contact with a COVID positive person. It's not something like super important, but I feel like they make you download it, and it's like not a big deal. So yeah, you can do it, as it's just a step. And the third part is the exemption form. So why do we need exemption form? So there are certain people who are gonna travel from U.S.A. to Delhi and then to other state. So if you're not going to have your exemption form, they're not gonna let you travel in your next flight, or maybe they're not gonna let you go outside to your own home. Exemption form is important because it states that as you're COVID negative, you're gonna go at your home and quarantine yourself. But if you're not going to have exemption form, it simply means that you're gonna quarantine yourself in any of the hotels in New Delhi for at least 7 days. And I don't know, maybe you're gonna go for another test. As I had my exemption form, so I just showed it to my state counter at the very end, and they looked at my COVID test and they put a stamp on my hand, and the officer who stands at the exit door looks for the stamp, and once you show that stamp to him or her, you're good to go. So once you finish your travel and you land in India, the first thing you're gonna do is like they're gonna ask for your self-reporting form again, and they're gonna look at it. Then you're gonna clear your customs. If you want to shop, you can shop in the like perfume and other stores which are there in the airport. Once you're done with that, then you're gonna try finding your state counter, because there are so many counters, it's so confusing to find them. I feel like if I had an idea about those state counters, it would have taken me lesser time than it actually took. So yeah, once you finish your customs and your shopping and they look at your self-reporting form, ask them straight about your state counter, that where you can find it. They're gonna let you know about that part, and once you get to the state counter, let your state like they will simply ask for your COVID test results and exemption form. Once you will show it, you're good to go. They're gonna put a stamp on your hand, and yeah, this is what I'm like remembering right now, but if there's anything extra, I'll let you know in my next video. Okay, have a safe travel. Bye bye.